What's going on, y'all? It's JSMO Reviews here, back at it again with another video. First video of 2023. Wanted to say, Happy New Year's to everybody. We're out here January 2nd, so we're 2 days in now, but really dope, 2022 has come to an end. New year, hopefully, good things, success, good health for everybody, and hopefully another good year of battle rap. As I was doing at the end of the year, a couple of you guys seen my last videos, my 2022 reviews, there was one that I was saving just for the turn of the new year, and that is my top 5 battlers of 2022 unranked. So usually I rank things, I'm very specific about that. For this, I'm keeping a little bit of anonymity, just because obviously Champion of the Year is coming up, couple different things that, there's going to be a lot of Battler of the Year talk, a lot of things still to be broken down. The outside footage still has not dropped, which in terms of how I would actually specifically rank things, there would be a little bit of, that possibly someone moving a spot, shifting a spot around, so while I do this and while I construct a 20 list that you may or may not see later, down the line, I wanted to give you guys just my perspective on the top 5 guys to give a general idea of who's up there. I think a lot of us have a lot of the similar names up there, but just thought I'd throw my 2 cents in and kind of wrap up the 2022 reviews with this final one, actually just putting the spotlight fully on the battlers and talking about the guys that I think the handful were above the rest and were the best of the year. So no honorable mentions for this. Just because, it is playing on some things that I do have a longer list for. So I just wanted to come out here and give this 5. So without further ado, we can hop right into the list. So to hop right into the list, first battler that I believe needs mention is Easy, the Block Captain. Once again, putting in a year of only 4 battles this year, but has always stuck to that kind of 4 to 5 regimen for the most part. And once again, man, when he spaces it out, he takes the plates that he specifically wants to that will uplift his brand, and then he gives very tailored and great material. This is obviously based on the year of 2022, but honestly, if you ask me just off of pure rapping who is the best, I personally would say that Easy, the Block Captain, may be the most dangerous battler in the world right now. The streak that he's on of clear wins, and particularly the competition that he's doing it against, is something that you only see every once in a while from really from any talent to get this many clear wins in a row versus in dominant fashion versus top tiers. The Cal battle is probably the closest. Even then, I still had him winning comfortably, and to beat Cal comfortably on SM, it just goes to show how far Easy's come as a talent. At his actual performance, obviously his material's always been there, and he was performing good last year, but his physical performance, if you look at the way he works the stage versus Big T, you're even seeing a guy that might be number 1 and getting better. This is a very, very dangerous guy. And overall, I just think that whether, how you feel about maybe some of his schedule, some guys maybe being past their prime, there's no question just off of pure material and performance, Easy is up there with the best of the best, and certainly, to me was one of the best battlers of 2022. And from there, we can go right into his fellow team member in gun titles, Tay-Rock. I believe Tay-Rock is definitely someone that belongs in this category of some of the best of 2022. Been outside, extremely active, right from the bat, taking Danny Myers in a battle that a lot of people revere as one of the top battles of the year. For those of you who saw my top 5 battles list, little spoiler, it didn't make the 5, but obviously for me, it was 6. And to me, it is one of the best battles of the year, and that's going off of just strictly material. When you take into account everything that it means, if you take impact and lead up and things of that nature, definitely could be up there higher. You know what I mean? It's an extremely impactful battle from there. Vixen, extremely, great back and forth. Him and Swamp, great, great, another great battle. Obviously had its moments, has his first, which is going to be up there for a round of the year contender. And then some of the in-between work and giving shots, something that I think he's been so good about, from Swervo to Ryda to Snake Eyes, the Kid Slade situation obviously didn't go, how we wanted it all to go. But overall, it's a very good body of work, bodying T-Top on Gnome. He's done plenty of good things. Now, me personally, I do have him losing some of these battles. But when you get to this point, it's never just fully about the wins and losses. It's about footage quality. So overall, when you take into account, obviously there has been some misses and some hiccups in there, like we spoke, the Kid Slade battle. A lot of us have him clearly losing to Danny, things of that nature. But you can't doubt that his material, for the most part, has been 100 this year. Very, very consistent, always performing well, and usually one of the top guys talked about. And that's why Tay-Rock, to me, is also someone that you have to mention in this conversation. From there, another person, you know what I'm saying, the third person that I'm inducting into my group of five here is Rum Nitty. Rum Nitty, honestly, out of all of them, has probably had, I don't want to say a quiet year because Nitty's been talked about. Obviously, him and Ward's battle is revered by many as battle of the year. Hasn't been officially crowned that yet, but I do think that is an incredible and a heavy frontrunner candidate for that award. And from there, he just gave a lot of good footage quality. That maybe it's because for the most part it was on app only events. His Danny battle, his Bill battle, and I still think people talked about it. I think obviously Nitty's one of the more praised battle rappers out there. But it might not have some of the, he hasn't touched a Gnome. He hasn't touched an SM or some of those bigger stages this year. But even when I mentioned that, app battles, all that, he has still provided some of the best back and forth battles of the year and just really some of the best footage there is in battle rap. Him and A-Ward obviously is of that ilk. Him and Fonz is of that nature. People, although I don't think it's in the battle of the year conversation, I do think him versus Danny and him versus Bill, very good battles. And even when you get to some of the excess battles he had in a way, when you look at him versus EK, that battle had no business being that great, but it truly is a great battle. Even his one rounder versus None, things of that nature, and a couple other battles I'm leaving out. Overall good. The one thing I take away from Nitty's year, no matter what, is good footage. Obviously, his big thing is he had the loss to Swamp in the tournament, which definitely be a big talking point for me as well. Though I do think that is a good battle, which is another crazy thing to say. He did lost that battle clearly, judged. You know what I'm saying? But I thought he lost it clearly outside of that as well. But for that to still even be good footage and still be a good Nitty, I think that just goes to show consistency. And outside of that, with no other clear losses, I think, he's obviously carved himself a great 2022 as the other battlers have here. And that's why he is in the 5. And then from there, we get down to the final 2 guys. Maybe the most 2 talked about when we talk about this category of the best battlers of 2022. And first one I want to mention is Shotgun Suge. What a crazy year for Shotgun Suge. Obviously, towards the tail end of 2021, he had the Real Name Brandon battle after a very, very long slump, a skid where the caffeine rooms really just didn't treat Suge that well. Not that Suge's ever, and I say this, as respectfully, with respect, Suge has never been one for the win-loss. He's never been overly in the green. He's never won all his battles. We know he's typically historically been on the more losing side record-wise, but that doesn't change how great of a talent he is. And even when he had that skid, as I always say with Suge, it doesn't change the fact what he's done for performance, when he gets into his real talk and real gritty cadence bag, what he can do. And he took all those things he does great and added some more pen to it and just some better pacing. And this is possibly the best Shotgun Suge that we've ever seen in 2022, just from the way material-wise, versus Stumbles, I thought he had amazing material in the Stumbles battle. Obviously, versus Chess, my personal body of the year pick, he had incredible material. Him and Verb, very good battle, where his second is one of the best rounds of his career. And that's without mentioning battles, like Drugs, which was another good one. I didn't think he was he was dominant in terms of the win, but I don't think his material matches up to the other material he had there, but still a good battle. Obviously, gets a little murky in the one-rounders. We look at Rida and Prep, and there's good material in there, no doubt, but I think cleanliness is a factor, early in the year. But overall, there's no question that Shotgun Suge has had some of the most impactful wins, with Chess, obviously, even though he talks that he's been the most dominant, he hasn't lost a round, he hasn't lost a battle. I don't know about all that, but he most certainly does have some of the more dominant wins on the year. Very impactful, amazing performance, just a great year for Suge, and that's why he is most definitely in this conversation. And that leaves us with one more battler to add to this, this unranked list of 5, this 5 that I think are in a bubble as some of the best in 2022, and that last name will be Swamp. To me, when it just comes to storyline, this is probably the craziest one for everybody, man. A guy that, came in with so much potential into the league after the Your Honor battle. Was kind of a slow burn, had a couple good battles afterwards, but lacked a little bit of cleanliness, didn't quite get the top tier looks, started getting them, choked a little bit, had some good wins in the middle, beat Swave and things of that nature, then choked versus T-Top, although his material was better. All this has a skid in 2021 where choking affects him again. He's not winning battles clear. Remember when he got bodied by KCJ a couple years back? And then last year, all this, decent UM3 run, but it kind of gets swept under the carpet. And then we come into the top of the year, he takes Dot, bodies Dot, as he should, but they're booking Swamp versus Dot. It's extremely disrespectful. And then UM5 happened, and we witnessed one of the more special underdog runs I think we have just in battle rap history. Beating Suge in the first round, who's obviously in this conversation, and in a not so good battle, footage-wise, all things considered. From there, has one of the biggest upsets, not just of this year, but of all time versus Rum Nitty. Brings his great performance and beats a good Rum Nitty with really his all-time best performance and a choke in the second round. Crazy how things played out. Obviously went on to kind of beat Fonz handily with a 30, and then obviously went on to lose the money to JC. But even with the loss in that battle, a lot of people had him winning. Doesn't matter. It's a judge result. But with all that being said, with the tourney, it carried into, what is he going to do post-tourney? He has the Tay-Rock battle, and that obviously goes very much so in his favor. I personally have him winning. You guys have seen from my recaps. But really a statement, moment for him. And even though the Arsenal battle wasn't that good, I had him winning that. And it just goes to show that if he wasn't that good and he's beating top tiers, kind of on an Irving Plaza in a moment like that, I think Swamp is finally, you could say he is top tier. At least in my opinion, I think Swamp is a top tier battler. We'll see. Maybe if next year he falls off, then obviously that opens up the conversation. But I believe his consistency is here. If you're performing versus Rum Nitties and Tay-Rocks at that level, you have the ability to perform against anyone in that game at that type of level. Those are two of the best, obviously, on this list, but just in general, two of the best that the sport has to offer. So to take that, a long time ago when he said he wanted to ease the block captain, it sounded insane out loud. Now, it's not a battle that could be that far off from happening. Just a really, really great year from him. Probably the most shocking year out of anyone. I know Suge kind of coming back into form was crazy, but I don't think anyone expected Swamp, to just have his late bloom hit like this. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh no, he is the star that we thought he was. He's not a bust. You know what I'm saying? It's not. We weren't lying. And that's why Swamp finishes off this list of the 5 names that I think are in the Battler of the Year conversation. And with all that being said, those names are Swamp, Shotgun Suge, Rum Nitty, Tay-Rock, and Easy the Block Captain. And that is the 5 there, guys. Sorry it's not the list format as usual. I know it's kind of fun to go from 5 to 1, but we're keeping it ambiguous and keeping that pool open because the truth is when we talk Battler of the Year, Champion of the Year, there is no clear front runner right now. There's names on this list that I haven't mentioned that good years, such as an A-Ward, a Bill Collector, you know what I'm saying? A couple other battlers that vein, JC, Danny. I could go on and on with guys that have been good this year, but for me, this is just the personal 5 in my bubble, and any of the names that I just named afterwards or on in the 5 names that I didn't mention, it's really all about how the cases are spun, especially this year. I think we have maybe a 1 to 7, 1 to 8 man race in terms of ordering. Not everybody has it right, but we all have that group of names, and I think what it comes down to is how you spin your case when it comes time. So, for all I know, somebody could spin it to me and, nobody knows my rankings, but maybe someone spins something differently could change my mind. It's all about, for me, making sure it's as accurate as possible, not about just, getting it right through my lens. Or I don't think it should be about someone, from their perspective, oh, I want the list to look as much like my list. It's for us to learn and be like, you know what? I was right about this point maybe, and you made a good point. Let's combine that and let's get the most accurate, fair assessment of this talent. And at the end of the day, anyone that makes the top 20 for champion, top 10, anyone that's in the conversation for these top 5s, when fans bring up names, all of you guys have had great years. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if you walk away with big legacy rewards or not. I just want to say that it's been a dope year in battle rap, and I personally am just thankful to be media and cover the content. I'm grateful to watch these battlers and watch the material they give us. Any critiques on this channel, anything I give, it's all in love of the sport and in love for what these talents do up on that stage. So, kudos to 2022. This will probably be my last. I'll do, if Outside drops, what I'm saying, I'll be doing maybe a Tay-Rock versus Snake Eyes review, something of that nature. But this will be my last video, what I'm saying, going over 2022. So thank you, 2022. Grateful year, grateful to be welcomed into media this year, and I can't wait to be a part of it going forward in 2023. But like, comment, subscribe. Let me know down below who is your Battler of the Year, your Champion of the Year pick. Let me know down below in the comments, and maybe let me know why if you're feeling up to it. You can just drop the name if you'd like to. But it's been Jay Small Reviews again, y'all, and I'm going to catch you on the next one. Peace.